I'm Beth, your friendly neighborhood reader and graphic designer, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 books that you helped me decide to add to my secret TBR for this month. We're gonna see what books I landed on, which ones you guys pick for me, and just a few. If you're new around here, this is an amazing little community of people and you get to meet them in the comments below. So if you're watching, let me know a book that's on your TBR for this month. Let the conversation begin. The first question was castle or hall? And the picks for this one were We Have Only Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson and The Secrets of Hartwood Hall by Katie Lumsden. You guys voted for castle, and so I will be reading We Have Only Lived in the Castle. The next question was west or south? South is for Riley Sager. West was for Ruth Ware. So my choices were Lock Every Door by Riley Sager and then The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. And y'all voted for west, so I'm going to be reading The Turn of the Key. The next question was red or green, and this question I was using to pick the next first book of a fantasy series that I started. The options were Red Rising by Pierce Brown and Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. Green was the winner, very dramatically so, and I have already gotten started on the first few pages of this book, the first book in the Seven Waters trilogy by Juliet Marillier, and that is Daughter of the Forest. The next question was tiny or big. This was related to the books that are still left to be read on my 24 and 2024 TBR. I actually just have 6 titles remaining, so I decided to have you guys choose between whether I would read the smallest book in that set or the largest book. The smallest book is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, and the largest is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. A tiny one, and so I will be reading Everything I Never Told You. I will be reading this one in November, it looks like, unless I finish these 5 quite rapidly and decide to take this one on. So here's what we're looking at so far. I have one more choice that I left up to you guys. The final question was new or old, choosing between either the oldest published book on my shelf or the newest published book on my shelf. The options for this one were Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and then the oldest book on my shelf, which is Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. The image that I used was of a typewriter versus a keyboard, and I just think there's a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the typewriter. So I will be reading Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. This is the next Poirot book that I have to read as I work my way through that series of hers. And I'll probably still get to this one because I would like to read it. But for the sake of this video, these are the 5 books that you helped me choose to add to my TBR for this month. Most of them are relatively short. One is a thriller, one is a fantasy with kind of small print. I feel like this one might go a little slower than the others. Quick addition, I'm also going to be doing a buddy read this month. We are going to be reading Codename Hélène, and that is by Ariel Lawhon. Got introduced to this author by reading The Frozen River. I was really excited to read another book by the author, and so is Gloria, so we are teaming up to buddy read this together in October. In 1936, Nancy Wake is an intrepid Australian expat living in Paris. She's bluffed her way into a reporting job for a Hearst newspaper when she meets wealthy French industrialist Henry Fioca. No sooner does Henry sweep Nancy off her feet and convince her to become Mrs. Fioca than the Germans invade France, and she takes yet another name, a code name, told in interweaving timelines organized around the 4 code names Nancy used during the war. Codename Hélène follows Nancy's transformation from journalist to one of the most powerful leaders in the French resistance. Known for her ferocious wit, her signature red lipstick, and her ability to summon weapons straight from the Allied allied forces. But with power comes notoriety, and no matter how careful Nancy is to protect her identity, the risk of exposure is great, for herself and for those she loves. This is based on a true story, and so there's a portrait in the front of the book. This edition also had the author's signature in it. I was really impressed. I got it pretty inexpensively on Pangobooks. These are all of the books that I will be reading. I also put out a poll yesterday, the final one, and asked 1 week or 2 weeks. And the verdict is 1 week. So I will be giving my best to read all of these in a week. I will not be pushing myself to read the buddy read within a week because Lori is going to be experiencing it via the audiobook. I will be reading through next Friday, so that's the plan. Hopefully that leaves me enough time to put together a little bit of a reading vlog and post it by next weekend. Here's hoping. Thanks again for helping me pick the books, and I hope to see you in another video soon.